Welcome to CATEX-TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. This is a live broadcast from Princeton, New Jersey. Today is Thursday, August 5th, 2010. It's 11:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time in the U.S. It's 4:30 p.m. in London. In Hamilton, it's 12:30 p.m. and in Mexico City, it's 10:30 a.m. If you need to reach us during the broadcast, you can phone in toll-free at 1-866-67-CATEX. Overseas, our AOL Instant Mail address is CATEX-TV. Today's birthdays, the first man to walk on the moon, Neil Armstrong, is 80 years old today. We'll quickly go to our news. Royal Sun Alliance has revealed a very big loss, a 1.2 billion pound gross loss from the Chilean earthquake. This is in part of its first half results that they released today. However, RSA, which is one of the largest general insurers operating in Chile, continues to maintain its 30 million pound net loss estimate. It remains confident that its very large CAT reinsurance programs and facultative protection measures will fully absorb the loss. Fingers crossed on that one. Swiss Re in Zurich made some news today. They reported that they've seen an $812 million second quarter net profit. This is despite the disaster damages from the Gulf of Mexico oil spill. This is a marked shift from a $342 million net loss for the same period last year, and it exceeded the expectations of analysts. Stefan Lipp, the CEO, said that our business performed well in the second quarter of 2010. Swiss Re estimated that it would foot property damage claims of about $200 million US before tax after the big Mexican Gulf of Mexico oil spill from the Deepwater Horizon oil rig that it had a partial insurance of off the US coast. In addition, a $130 million increase in estimated claims from Chile's earthquake was added during the second quarter, bringing the total to about $630 million before tax. I continue to say that Tom Bolt was right when he said that the Chilean quake is going to be a lot like Northbridge. It's going to keep growing and growing and growing. Lancashire Holdings, based in Bermuda, with their beautiful offices in London, announced that they had a minimal exposure to the casualty side of the Deepwater Horizon disaster. Richard Brindle, the CEO and founder, said he continues to think that that will turn out to be, quote, complex and expensive to resolve. Despite being one of the largest insurers of energy risks, Lancashire managed a net operating gain of about 86 million US for the first half, down from about 139 million in the first half last year. The combined ratio rose to 77.4% from about 58%. Brindle said that premium rates in the worldwide energy market were up between 10 and 30% as a result of Deepwater Horizon. However, Lancashire's property cat book, particularly in Florida, had come under what he calls sustained rating pressure in recent weeks. As a result, they've cut their property cat to windstorm in the southeast and Gulf region, beginning in the June and July renewals. Brindle said that pricing pressures have led us to reduce our participation on several of our retrocessional accounts, and we've also scaled back our direct and facultative account exposures. JLT made some news. JLT Aerospace has been appointed by Arabsat to work alongside Marsh in developing a specialized insurance package for a multi-satellite launch program. Arabsat was set up in 1976 by member states of the Arab League and has since become a leading satellite service provider to the Arab world. It currently ranks among the top 10 global operators. JLT's global head of space, Peter Elson, said this is a fantastic opportunity and a tremendous coup for JLT Aerospace. We'll go to a word from our sponsors and come back with the rest of the news. This is a little bit of a parochial story put out by our friends at Insurance Day, but it nicely sums up some of the trends and forces going on in the industry right now. The potential threat to London from emerging insurance exchanges such as in Qatar and New York is the latest key industry issue that they've added to the Insurance Day Technology Forum agenda. They've set up a special panel, including the newly appointed CIO at Kiln, his name is Ray Ferris, and the director and co-founder of Scalogis Consulting, Colin Whitman. They seem to be the only two people on board right now, but that will be amplified, you can be sure. They're going to consider whether overseas exchanges will be able to benefit from more advanced technology models. If these technology models really are more sophisticated than those currently utilized in Lloyd's, the panelists will then consider whether this could threaten the future of Lloyd's. The panelists will also debate whether this is a threat that London should be taking seriously, or, this is correct, possibly, if it's simply a case of deja vu. If the overseas exchanges do pose a realistic threat, then what should the market be doing to improve, and what are the timescales for any subsequent improvements? The event will be held at the Dexter House facility on October 6th, a very timely event. Pakistan continues to get worse now. The authorities have begun to evacuate 500,000 people living along the Indus River in the southern part of the country. These are the worst monsoon rains in decades. They've caused massive destruction. They've killed an estimated 1,500 people already, most of them up in the northwest area. About 4.5 million Pakistanis have been affected by the floods, including many in the eastern Punjab province, the most fertile area of the country. The government's overall response has been criticized. The president, for example, is in the United Kingdom now for a 5-day trip. News from Spain that the Spanish oil company Compañía Española de Petróleos, or CEPSA, said this morning that it had shut 8 units of its La Rabida refinery in Huelva after a fatal fire yesterday. The units were shut down as a precaution. However, the plant's still running at 50% of its projected capacity. This is a little bit of an unusual story. They're doubling their capacity in the next year, and they claim to still be running at the newly tabulated figure. They still claim to be producing 80,000 barrels of oil a day. Wednesday's fire began in a pipe leading to a storage tank. 2 people were killed in the blaze, and another 2 later were injured. At O'Hare Airport yesterday, a apparent fire in a wheel well forced the evacuation of United Airlines 767. Flight 949 had just arrived from London's Heathrow when the brake assembly on the left side of the plane caught fire. Emergency crews met the plane, helped the passengers off. There were 188 passengers and 11 crew members on board. A few of the people who exited the plane via the slides were being evaluated for minor injuries. One observer, he was a passenger named David Smart, said, "It was harder for the older people, I think. That steep jump into the chute, I've never done it before. For the younger ones, it was okay, but for the older ones, it was a little difficult." At about the same time, Air Force One was landing in Chicago. Debarking from the plane was the President of the United States, who then met the governor of Illinois and the mayor of Chicago. They all got on board Marine One, the helicopter, and flew downtown to Soldier Field, where the president alighted, got into his motorcade, and went to his home to celebrate his 49th birthday. Also, since we've been following this, I'll go ahead and mention it. Yesterday in the second inning at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, Alex Rodriguez finally hit his 600th home run. You can tell that it's August if we're talking about things like this. If we have any other breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. If not, we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching.